Oh, is that on?
Yep. See the little blue light? The blue light right there. See it?
I couldn't turn it off. I didn't know if it was on or off.
It's been on charge, so it's a good.
Oh, okay.
All right, if everyone could stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, our chairman of the board is not feeling that well, so I'm going to step in and run the meeting. So I'll call to order the Morgan Township trustee meeting dated February 26, 2024 at 7 p.m. Can I get a roll call?
Mr. Huff?
Yes.
Mr. Brucker?
Yes.
Mr. Cole?
Yes.
All right. Can I get a motion to approve the minutes?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes dated February 12th, 2024 with one correction.
And that correction to be that I sent a letter to 2355 Bell Road when I actually sent the letter to 2355 Chapel Road. And that's
Edit.
all, that's it.
Edit is noted. We have a motion on the floor. Roll call, please.
Second.
Mr. Cole?
Yes.
Mr. Brucker?
Yes.
Mr. Huff?
Yes.
Motion approved.
I'll make a motion to approve the payment listing from 2/13/2024 through 2/26/2024. Payment number 135-2024 through 176-2024, and warrant number 12514 through 12535 for a total of $58,878.74.
Second?
Mr. Brucker?
Yes.
Mr. Cole?
Yes.
Mr. Huff?
Yes.
Motion approved.
All right. I don't see Mike Hodge here yet, but we're gonna table that for a minute. We'll go to the fire department report.
Good evening. Not sure if you got this report earlier. I put a copy on your desk this evening.
I just saw it now.
Okay, I didn't think he got those out, so not much to go over. Just crews are completing training this month on the Ohio DNR protocols, as well as the 4-gas meter hot stick for electrical emergencies, and we're continuing with the online training, which is a yearly compliance for bloodborne pathogen protection. So those are all in progress. And then just kind of a heads up here a little bit. Recently, the association's received several donations from the citizens of the township. The department would like to thank those individuals and their families for those contributions. This is a testament to the kindness, compassion, and professional nature of our personnel. So that's all I have, unless you have anything for me.
Anybody?
Thanks, Mike.
Okay.
Nope, thank you. All right. You want to just do community park during your segment?
Yeah.
Okay. Rob, you want to do the road department?
Okay. First off, I'm wanting to rent a piece of machinery for 1 month. It was cheaper to rent it for a month than it was to rent it by the week. And that is to United Rentals. I wanted to rent it's a 4-wheel drive man lift, so we could trim some trees on Howards Creek Road, Weaver Road, Bell Road, North Wire, South Wire. I think there's even a few on Schraden that I need to get that we can't get with our arm mower or can't get with a pole saw in the back of the dump truck. So was wanting to know if I could get that PO for $2,600 to United Rentals. It's a 10,000-pound man lift that we can haul on our trailer, so I won't have to have delivery or return of it. We can go pick it up ourselves and move it to wherever we need to.
So when do you want to get that? How soon?
The 1st of March, if
Okay.
we could. Well, not Friday, but next week.
Okay. Any discussion?
The only thing I was thinking is that something that you guys feel comfortable doing?
Yes.
We
Yeah.
could
We-
contract that.
We have rented a guy on Howard Road, Howard's Creek Road by the name of Todd Smith had a bucket truck, and he'd let us use that and stuff, and Dan that works for us is very comfortable up in there, and we've rented one from Baker Hardware, but it's just a little bit flimsy and stuff, and then it's so hard to set up and take down and move around. I just would rather this. It's a four-wheel drive unit that drives itself. It's very stable, very stout. Lots more sturdier than what we rent from Baker's. Baker's is all right if you're just painting the side of a barn or going up to fix a flagpole and stuff, but for trimming trees and stuff, it's just flimsy. I mean, we've used it before, but for as much as we want to do, I'd rather have something a little bit more stouter.
So is this a scissor lift or an
No,
articulating?
it's like it spins around 180 degree or
Does
360.
it have
Right.
to be level to even run? Some of them do, don't they?
Well, this one, for the most part, it's got to be level, but you can be a little bit off. But
Because I rented one from Baker's and,
yeah, that one from
I couldn't
Baker's,
get
you
any-
have to have it set up perfectly level for it to even work.
yeah.
And this one
If you're
here,
on a hill, you can't
I mean,
do it.
you can't be on the side of a hill and use it. No, you're going to turn it over.
Yeah.
But every place that I'm wanting to use it is all pretty much on a flat level. That's why I want to use it. It only goes up 40 feet. That's why it's only 10,000 pound machine, because they only go 40 feet. You can get them where they go up 65 feet, but we don't need to go that big.
Okay. Tom, do you got the motion?
Yep, so moved. Are
A
you-
second?
Okay, Mr. Brucker?
Yes.
Mr. Kolb?
Yes.
Mr. Huff?
Yes.
Motion approved.
And I don't have it on my list here, but with that, I was wanting to know if I could bring Dan Hirsch back 2 months early, instead of bringing him back to 1st of May, if I could bring him back to 1st of March, so we could do this tree trimming, and then once we're done with the tree trimming, then we've got crack sealing I want to jump right into, so.
Well, it's a lot easier too, isn't it? Before the leaves ever get on.
Right.
You can see what you need to cut out.
A whole
right?
lot easier, and then also by having an extra person, that and Dan's our bucket man, so he gets to be in the bucket, and that'll
Yeah.
free one of us up to, that way we got somebody helping put stuff in the chipper to chip it up, we got somebody flagging traffic and stuff, just to be safer about it too,
So moved.
so, okay.
Okay, so we're going to do a resolution on that because that's
Right.
earlier than seasonal help is
That-
allowed to start.
So you want me to say it?
Yes.
Okay. I'll make a motion to bring Dan Hirsch back effective March, what would that be? First, second, third, fourth? March 4th, which is 2 months earlier than what we normally bring our season help back.
Okay, we'll just keep track of his hours.
Okay.
So he can stay in seasonal, okay?
Right.
Okay.
Second?
Okay, Mr. Brucker?
Yes.
Mr. Huff?
Yes.
Mr. Cole?
Yes.
Motion approved. Okay.
Okay, the next thing I'd like to do is, this is for a little bit later this year, but we have an older cutoff saw that we've been having a lot of issues with. It's only a 12-inch saw, but we was wanting to purchase a new cutoff saw. This one would go from being able to cut through 12 inches to be able to cut 16 inches, and it's a steel, it's a steel TS 800 16-inch quick cut saw, and the saw itself is $1,799.99, and then there's a cart mounting kit. That way we can roll it to saw cut the roads for when we're doing road culverts. We've got our grinder and we do our milling and stuff, but this is so you can get a more straight edge cut
Okay.
to do road repairs. In any case, the total was $2,399.98, and then Baker's has given us a $500 discount to make a total $1,899.98 for a TS 800 cutoff saw.
Okay. Any discussion?
You want a PO for that?
No.
Sounds good.
Yes.
Okay.
Let's do
So
it.
moved.
Second.
PO for Bigger Hardware for a
Okay.
cutoff saw in the amount of $1,899.98.
Okay,
Second?
okay. Mr. Brucker?
Yes.
Mr. Huff?
Yes.
Mr. Cole?
Yes.
Is there any
Motion
value at all
approved.
on the old one?
I don't know yet. I haven't taken it up for them to look at it.
If they can't, maybe
Do they have it in stock?
Yes, they do have
Jeff
it.
Griffith can put it on Go Deals and get something for it.
All right.
Okay.
I mean, it still runs and stuff, it's only 12 inch, and it
Can you
needs
use
some
it for
fine
anything
tuning. We've
else?
probably had it 12, 15 years. And we use it quite a bit, so.
Okay.
And the last thing I have is, was wanting to see if we could proceed with purchasing a mini excavator. And as I had given you the packet before, the 3 different bids that I've gotten, I got one from Zimmer Tractor, which is a Kubota KX57. It's a 12,000 pound machine. It is through Sourcewell, which is the national company. It's not through the Ohio purchasing program, it's through the national purchasing program. And the price is $75,740 for the one that we would like to purchase. The
Okay,
next-
so you narrowed it down to the Kubota?
Yes.
Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
The other two, the John Deere and the, what was the other name?
The John Deere was just too light a machine, just wasn't really what we was after, plus it was way more expensive than the other two. The other one was a Kobelco,
Kubelco.
it was a SK55 XR7. Pretty much the same minimum, except for, it's just the Kubota, just everything seems to run so much smoother. It just, it's a 12,000 pound machine like we're after. Kobelco had a 12,000 pound machine. I'm not saying it's a bad machine, but its price was $76,488 for the same 12,000 pound machine,
A different brand, right?
but a different brand. So they was $76,488, and Kubota through Zimmer Tractor was $75,740.16.
Is the full payment due on delivery?
Yes, unless you want to lease it. There is that possibility, but I think it'd be better just to purchase it outright versus leasing it, because especially when we're under $100,000, if we was way over that, I'd say
Yeah.
maybe consider it, but
I know sometimes they finance their equipment.
They never offered that.
well, they offered it, yeah, like, I just didn't ask them to give me anything for financing, but I mean, if you wanna go
Well-
that way, we could see about that, but I
Let's
just,
talk to the fiscal.
We did,
On the-
I
on
asked
the
her
money
last
side.
meeting if, what,
Well, let's take it out of this fund.
okay.
Which
She-
account?
She's saying we have in Fund 2021.
It's not in the budget I would have to do.
Right, but we could take it out of the gasoline fund or
Yes,
tax
There
fund.
would be enough money. in
There's like $290,000 in that,
290
yeah.
in that one fund.
So we could reallocate it to to purchase this.
I think it's something we need, something that we've used, something we've had to go get when we do something like that.
it would just make things a whole lot easier for us, especially when we're digging graves in the cemetery. I don't do that many, but it would make it a lot easier for digging graves, because I can dig here, spin all the way around, dump in a dump truck, instead of having to back a dump truck back into the cemetery and worry about busting through a grave or something. You know, that's always a concern when we do that. We try to keep it as far away as we can, but sometimes you have to work back further than you want. And just doing our regular ditching and culverts just be so much quicker. Now, I am not going to get rid of our backhoe, because that still has a use for us. Number one, we have to load our salt with that, but it's also nice, it's just another big
Are we,
big lifting thing to use.
are we getting crowded over there?
No, we got plenty of room for it.
Okay.
So this Kubota, the mini excavator, we
Too
can
much.
trailer it on our existing trailers?
Yes, we do not have to buy any new trailers, any new,
Okay,
we can haul that on what we got, so.
Okay.
good.
Yeah.
All right, I'll make a motion to issue a PO to, would it be Zimmer Tractor then, or would it be Sourcewell?
Well, that is something I'm not for sure of. I'm certain it's gotta go through Sourcewell, so even though it is through, buying it through Zimmer Tractor, I think it's gonna need to be made out to Sourcewell.
Is it all one word?
Okay.
You might want to give me a copy of that too.
For the mini excavator that Rob spec'd out, what is it, a KX57, 12,000 pound?
057-5R3s.
Okay. 5R, or KX57-5R3, 12,000 pound mini excavator, through Sourcewell for the amount of $75,740.16, and that will come out of Fund 2021.
What fund we call it?
Gasoline tax 2021.
2021.
And I will second.
Okay. Mr. Brucker?
Yes.
Mr. Cole?
Yes.
Mr. Huff?
Yes.
Motion approved.
And just a quick thing, that just so you know, that we are getting a quick attach 24-inch trenching bucket, the quick attach coupler. We're getting a 36-inch quick attach, what they call cemetery bucket, and we're getting a hydraulic thumb pin grabber that's all part of that same, it's part of that price. That's all spec'd in the machine.
When did they offer to deliver it? Do they have them?
The last I was told, they had 4 of them sitting on the lots.
Okay.
And if they don't have it in Monroe, they've probably either got it in Aurora or Brookville's.
Can you turn,
There weren't
turn
any
the
extras
mic
with
on?
that?
Make sure it's
Pardon?
on.
What were the extras? Weren't there a couple extras you said it went with
Yeah,
this?
but that's all included in that
Is it-
price.
is it
About
on? Turn it on.
75,000.
Well, that's what I'm asking. Did the other places
Okay.
include those too?
Yes,
Oh, okay.
I expect everything exactly the same through all of them with the same 24-inch bucket, 36-inch bucket, and the thumbs.
Different name? right?
Yes.
Okay.
Anything else, Rob?
That is all I have.
You think he's done enough, Dan? Okay, we're gonna
Do you agree?
break in. Mike Hodge, we're gonna put you on the spot to come up and give us an update on what you found out with your conversations with ODOT.
Did we approve that?
Yeah.
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 My name's Mike Hodge, 5141 Alert, New London. What we talked about last meeting was the closure of the road for the Strawberry Festival. Talked to Dustin at ODOT. We've got the verbal authorization. All I got to do is finish the paperwork. Once Rob gets the maps together, we discuss that. I'll finish submitting it. I opened the account in my name, but I used you, Tom, as the second point of contact, and I did it on behalf of the township. It just makes it a little bit easier. Not that it really matters, but I figured this way, I'd really like you guys to open it, but Rob was saying we don't have a township administrator at this point.
Yeah, but I think one
So-
of the trustees should probably do that,
Yeah, we
not
could do
you.
that too, but once I could actually get with you and we could open it, and then year after year, it's just an easy submission. It's pretty much the same thing. That way you don't have to depend on me to do it. You guys can do it yourself. As we discussed, talking to Dustin, the safety aspect of it, once we discussed that and talking to Rob, what happened last year with the people going back and forth across the street and everything, I think it's the way to go. So what we do with that is irrelevant, but the road will be closed for the traffic coming from Chapel down. It'll be open, obviously, to get to Diamond and any other place they want to park coming in from the east. Talked to Stevie again today. We've got full use of Diamond's lot. He's going to postpone anything he's got coming in on that Saturday and put it off so that he's got no traffic coming in. I do want to get with the other businesses in town just to let them know if they've got any trucks or anything like that coming in, that I'd like to have some more coordination just to make sure I know, because we don't want to kind of shut them down. I don't anyway. So if we know they're coming and we know there's a shipment, obviously we'll want to let them do business. So it's something we'll take care of on a case-by-case basis, but I'll get with everybody in town to make sure I know what's happening.
Yeah, you might want to get with Munchin because I'm sure they got delivery trucks going out.
Exactly, leaving, I can have them head out of their lot and go up to Chapel and then take off. That won't be a problem. So it's, it just matter now, it's just the finalities of the paperwork. Everything's done online. It's just waiting for the map and talking to Rob. The only thing we're really responsible for is the placement of the signs. We need to put one at Chapel and 126, at Alert New London and Chapel, at 748 in Bell, and then I thought it would be best just to let the traffic coming through on Lehigh continue across and not block them coming out of Harrison to Hamilton. Just let them go. It's not going to affect us at all. And then they'll be stopped at Morgan Ross coming up. So they'll detour up Morgan Ross and pick up from there.
You said
back
Lehigh,
around.
back up. Where?
Not Lehigh.
New London.
Yeah,
Okay.
New London. Because those people are coming up, we'd have to get into moving them around, back up, whatever that is. I guess that's Morgan Ross. It travels the other way. I think it might change names. But there's no reason they can't just continue right through. They're not making a right. If they get up there and they wanted to go left on a 126, they'll have to follow the detour back to Morgan Ross. So,
So is it Morgan Township or who's makes the final call on the detour routes? Because usually ODOT wants to detour to another state route.
and that's kind of the situation, but they left that up to us since they don't want typically to detour to a non-state route. But since it's us asking, we can do whatever we want. So if we want to use our road, they're fine with it. So that's where the initial conversation went, we'll just come up, pick up 748, which is another state route, and get them out of town. But you're still
talked to
leaving
you
that
about
area
that.
in front of the community house
Yeah.
with the traffic, and I was like, that's kind of, I mean, it was open last year, the whole road was, but I just as soon close it. I mean, what's everybody's thought on that?
I don't want to close it.
Huh?
I don't want to close it.
You don't want to close Morgan Ross?
I think you're
right.
way off on the weeds here, boy.
Hold on. I want everybody to take their chance of talking, but he came to the last meeting and we kind of put him on a journey to go out and see if it was even possible.
We're
So,
on a journey, all right.
okay,
Let's go.
so we'll give you time to talk here in a minute. Let him finish, and then I want everybody to weigh in whether, it's not a done deal. We're definitely not closing. We just are looking at it. We've tried, we looked into putting sidewalks
Excuse
in.
me, Mr. Trustee, it sounds like a done deal on his part.
Let's-
And ODOT.
We have to make the decision, not him, okay?
Good.
So either way, like I said last time, it doesn't matter to me. I'm looking out for the safety of the community. From what I saw last year and what I heard last year and years to come, my train of thought is this, and we discussed insurance briefly, and I'm sure John would like to come up and talk about the insurance policy we have, but when somebody gets hit by a car, it's not going to be the Civic Association, it's not going to be the church, it's going to be the township, it's going to be everybody that a lawyer can tag. I guarantee it. So looking at what can be done in advance of having that conversation and saying we did everything we could do, to me, that's the way to go. Like I said, I have the shows in Oxford and many, many things in the past, and there's not a festival I've ever went to in a town that cars are going through the town. Not one. Not in Lebanon, not in Hamilton, not anywhere. They closed the road. But here, you have people walking back and forth across the street and cars just going right through a state route. So it doesn't really, I don't have a stake in the game there. It's just the safety of the people coming out to our township, coming out to our town to enjoy a festival. And if we put them in danger, then, something we could have prevented, that's where I think it would have been wise to do. So, it doesn't make any difference to me. Obviously, there's some opposition. I'd love to hear it. The the reasoning, but.
Oh, you will.
Okay.
We're gonna have everybody have a chance to talk, so.
So, you know, with that being said, it's just a matter of hitting a button and, you know, actually what Dustin's gonna do is once we submit, he's gonna go in and pull it and walk it through himself because we're kind of short on time. And the reason we're short on time is things, okay, so let's just say there's a place in Brookville that needs a wide load to come through on 126. If they issue a permit for that wide load to come out 126 next week or the week after, and then 2 months later we apply for the permit, you're gonna have a semi sitting down at Morgan Ross with a road closed, and ODOT's sitting there, well, we screwed up. So then you have a semi sitting in the middle of Morgan Ross trying to detour up Morgan Ross Road, which isn't exactly an ideal situation with a wide load. That's why they want it in now, so they can prevent anything from like that happening. So time is kind of the essence. He wanted it in as fast as we could get it to him, so none of those things happen. The earlier, the better. Like I said, my roads are closed in Oxford already, and my show's 30 days after the festival. So it's just a matter of the coordination, you know, and I don't know who tried before and who talked to what, but it's a common sense kind of scenario. It happens all the time. The state doesn't want to be responsible for putting a no stamp on it because now they're involved. They said no, and something happened. So our attorneys go to them, say, you guys said no, we asked. Now they're involved. So that's the way the ball rolls in today's society. It's sad, but that's the way it works. So it's just a matter of making it more conducive and better for the people that come into town so that it's safer, I think. But what we do with it is really an irrelevant issue. Just having the road closed so that there's not a danger to anyone, to me is a plus. Maybe everybody doesn't see it that way. I don't know. So that's it. All we have to do is submit it, give them the mapping of what we want to do. Because there are roads that we're gonna detour them to. So if we wanted to use 748, it wouldn't be an issue, but, you know.
Not necessarily. We have to get input from county if we're gonna, because Chapel is county and.
Well, I've gotten input from the county on it and told them what my scenario of this was, and obviously we're only talking about an 8-hour time frame from about 10 o'clock that Saturday morning till 5 o'clock that evening. Because by 5 o'clock everything's clearing out. About 10 o'clock things are really getting ramped up. The heat of the day is about noon. Noon to 3 is when it's at its peak. But it would be advantage to the town if 126 was closed, but we have to make it so nobody can go through town if we're going to do this. So what I was saying is we close it at Chapel, allow them to come down as far as Ingalls
Diamond Trailer.
Diamond Trailer. That way, if they come from the west, they could park there. The only problem with that is our parking on the east side of town fills up very, very quickly because we park them behind the community center or community house there at New London and 126. And there was a little bit of parking back where the tractors are behind the firehouse. That's going to be our big problem is we don't have enough parking on the east side. There's parking on the west side, but getting people over to that's where our problem's going to be. And I don't know if we're going to be able to get people to take the detour around to the west side or not.
Right.
That's going to be the hard part because where we're running into the problem is, and that's I've had the county. They're still working on a plan for us, but the cost of it is just going to be astronomical to put a sidewalk in, And really, if you're gonna put a side, you almost need to have sidewalk on both sides of the road to keep people off of the road.
'Cause they're gonna be
On
crossing.
the west side of town there, west of Scott Avenue, when they're going out between what's going on in downtown, and then they're going out to the museum where all the fire trucks and the cars are and Munson Furniture. There's a bunch of stuff they got going on out there, as well as in there, as back by their firehouse and stuff where all the vendors are. You have all them people, walking through there, and we just can't have the cars going through there. They did a fabulous job with their fire trucks of moving people were parking on the west side of town. But a lot of those people that were parking out on the west side, they had to come through town to get there, and that's where we've got a big issue. Is we need more parking on the east side of town, and I honestly don't know where to go with that.
Hey, Rob, right now, I don't know if you looked lately, but the trailer place, they got all their trailers in. I mean, it's normally not like this. So are they gonna have all their trailers in? They're hauling trailers in?
Oh, I have no idea on that.
If you look there, that took up that whole front of that building.
But now they do have a bunch of gravel parking lot in the back. Maybe they are talking about letting us move people back around there and parking. I mean, they do have a good sized lot there, so.
Yeah.
It goes
In comparison to what we use down at the other end and in comparison to what we use at Munchin's, we're probably looking at close to 300 cars in Diamond. Most of the trailers are sitting in the grass out in front of the building right now. So, and Stevie will be more than happy to move things around to give us as much space as possible. That's not the big issue. The big issue is what's at the other end of town. Now, Ron, what's Ron's last name, Margie? Our Ron that parks cars? Okay, he's got a strip of land that actually belongs to the Francises behind the row of houses on 748 there, going through town, that has typically never been utilized. So he's telling me this year they're going to bush hog that and utilize that. Now, the other issue that I saw was the entry and exit down at that end of town. It's just a one-way kind of thing. I haven't talked to him yet. It's something I was going to get with you on, Dale. Whoever owned the old log cabins there, the empty lots, trying to get a hold of them to see if we could use that as an egress out. That way we have an entry in one way and an exit out to go back up Morgan Ross and leave town. That way we don't have the traffic jam of in and out. We have an in and we have an out. And that's we figured it up the other day when we were down there, probably another 100 cars back in that area. The other option is moving things from behind the firehouse. That's up in the air. I don't care. But if we have the entire road from one end of town to the other, there's another 250 cars behind the firehouse that could be parked. The problem solved. Now you got 400 cars at one end of town and 350 cars at the other end of town. So it's just a matter of what do you do with what was at the firehouse from in between us and the Salty Dog. You've got 126.
Michael, don't you have a stream on that property that you're speaking of, the log cabin? Isn't there a stream behind it?
No, there's nothing there. It's just, I drove it the other day in my Escalade. There's nothing there. It's just grown up. It just needs to be bush hogged.
Yeah, I understand that. There is a creek.
I don't know how far back.
Yeah,
we
but
drove.
there's, what he's talking about, there's all kinds of room to park back in there before you get to that stream.
Okay.
Oh,
We didn't
That
go that
stream's
far
on the
then.
back side of the field he's talking about, so
Okay.
you wouldn't have to cross that stream at all.
Yeah.
Well, I thought there was a stream that ran through the property as it went down that way.
On the back side of that field, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
but you got a solid 100+ cars before you'd ever get to it, because I drove up in there,
Well,
turned
I mean, I
around.
take your word for it, and I'll be
Yeah.
glad to tell you who the owner is. but,
Okay, and then I actually drove out in between where the log cabins were. There's like almost a road right there, and, I just drove right back out to 748. So just looking at the way that would work. Totally doable. Again, it's just asking. We don't ask. We just sit around and, we can't. Well, just ask. It's a vacant lot with nothing on it. So if we can do that, that gives us a regress out and off they go. They're out of town without the traffic jam of in and out in one spot. So then you get into the situation of the firehouse, another 250 cars. If we do something with the vendors or whatever it is, we've got nothing but room, 18 feet of pavement in between there and Diamond that's ours. Nothing's there. Utilize it for something. And there's more parking. So there's lots of ways to do it. I'm not here to tell anybody how to do anything. I'm just making suggestions. Because if I was a vendor, I'd want my people just walking right by every booth there was, so they have to pass me. Not going through a maze of figure eights and loops and what it is now, and not go back past me and bypass me, or anything else back in there, because this way it's just a walk right by it all. And that way they get the most visibility. And it gives somebody something to do if they were walking, instead of a death march from Munchins to town. There's something there. And right now there's nothing. So put something there. Make it a festival, make it a street festival. The road is ours, 18 feet of asphalt, it's ours. So those are my suggestions. What happens with them doesn't really matter to me. It's just the safety of the people. Close the road, do whatever. I just threw it out there. That's all I got.
All right. Thanks, Mike. Anyone want to speak? Come on up, state your name and address, and the mic's yours.
Hey, Rob, what time is the parade from what to what? 7?
The festival
Yeah.
usually starts about 10 in the morning to 5 in the afternoon.
Okay.
People start setting up long before that, like at 7 in the morning, but
So to do that, you'd have to close it before 10, right?
You do that.
Or 7?
It's relevant.
we can close it whenever. I mean, whether it's 10 o'clock we close it, or whether it's 7 in the morning we close it.
Okay.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Hi, everybody. My name is Mark Radke. I'm a resident at 7605 Schraden Road. I also own the Salty Dog Museum. But I applaud Mr. Hodges' concerns about safety. I've only been doing this for maybe the last 10 years, so I'm relatively new at the Strawberry Festival. We've had a good crew of people to work with. I don't know Mr. Hodge. He's relatively new to me, like tonight. But I think that closing down State Route 126 and the aforementioned areas is going to stop me from doing these little fire truck rides. I do believe that these rides add some value, some experience to the Strawberry Festival. Instead of just transporting, you're being transported on a 90 or 100-year-old fire truck. We are very safe, and I think we're missing the boat maybe with the Butler County Sheriff's Patrol. They do an excellent job on crowd control and moving people away. I've never hit anybody yet with a fire truck, so maybe that's a good thing, I hope.
That's a good thing.
But no, I don't believe that we need this at this juncture. It's gotten awful big in the last, I'll say 5 to 7 years, hasn't it, kids? So
100% wants you to do the fire trucks.
I won't do it with the road shut down. I'm not going to weave in and out people. It's going to focus more people on the road. As you said, Mr. Hodge, a festival atmosphere. I'm not going to go driving down through a festival of people. It's not going to happen. I carry special insurance for this, as you guys would want me to, for riding individuals on there. So I don't know what you're going to do with all the tractors that are presently on the tractor show behind the firehouse. So that's another issue.
So making a caution tape lane for you all the way down the road wouldn't work?
Wouldn't work? No, I'm afraid
We make our own lane where
people
it's
tend to
like
jump
roads
that
out
caution
there.
lane. I mean, there's people all over, Mr. Hodge, I understand. But, by having the road open, it gives me more space at 18 feet wide of pavement there. I will not ride or drive it down with people in the roadway. Ain't gonna happen, so. All right, thank you very much for
Thank you.
listening.
Thanks.
Anyone else? Come on, John.
Jonathan Stowe, 4777 Cincinnati Brookville Road, Hamilton, Ohio. We've been running this Strawberry Festival for many years. Started off as there was a separate event called Market Day, when we had the vendors in the field, which was completely separate from the Strawberry Festival. But it was always very hot. In July we used to have it, so we combined with the Strawberry Festival. And last year was probably the most successful Strawberry Festival we've ever had. And Mike had all these, concerns about safety, but he never discussed it with the Shandon Civic Association ahead of time. There would be a lot of details to work out if we started to try and close roads in 748 and 126. And people often come from Ross, and then they'd want to go up to the Salty Dog Museum, and they wouldn't be allowed to do that if we closed the road. So I don't think we'll ever want to stop the traffic going through. We keep the vendors well on one side, a limited number of them, and on the road outside the Congregational Church. The other vendors are all in the field, and they're all very happy about that. There's some in the school, we call the schoolyard, that don't have their vehicles with them. But before we came up with a plan to close the road, I'd want to know a lot more details to know whether it was going to help or harm the festival. So let's not rush at it.
Well, how about, taking this under consideration and maybe not doing it this year, but maybe planning for 2025 and get the answers that you need, the civics
I think
group?
Closing Oxford is not the same as trying to close off Shandon, because we don't have the roads. to
Right, we don't
bypass
have city blocks.
it, you know.
Okay.
So
John, just one question. I know Mark had mentioned he's got insurance coverage on his fire unit. Is there an insurance coverage or a policy that protects the community?
The Shandon Civic Association carries $1 million policy to cover both the Strawberry Festival and Christmas in the country.
Okay, so the Shandon Civic Society is the sole proprietor of the Strawberry Festival. That is you, right?
No, the Strawberry Festival is a combination of the Shandon Congregational Church and the Shandon Civic Association, whereas the Christmas in the country is the St. Al's, the Shandon Congregational Church, and the Civic Association.
Okay. So the insurance policy is naming those two groups as the insurer against anything that could happen.
Well, it's
God forbid.
Anything that we're liable for that we could have caused. But to my experience, and I walk around the Strawberry Festival a lot, I've never seen any near misses that make me concerned.
I know it was mentioned about the Butler County Sheriff and utilizing that more. And I know they used to have horses down there, which is a great show to see that. Do we need to do more that way? Is that something to look at?
I'm going to step up and say here one thing is, last year at the Strawberry Festival, I worked the east side of town. I was at Hamilton, New London, New Haven, 126 the entire day. From start to finish, I was there. And it would be much, much better if we had a sheriff deputy at that intersection, because me in a yellow vest, people don't acknowledge you. They don't. I was cussed at. I was yelled at. I did have some people offer me water and stuff, but I mean, it was a very stressful day. I will say that. Not one that I really am looking forward to doing again. So that's why a sheriff deputy there, they've got some authority. You're not going to cuss out a sheriff deputy. You're not going to holler and scream at one, well, where's the handicap parking? Well, I don't know, keep driving forward, you'll find it eventually, so. But with that being said, that is one thing, we need to make a designated lot for handicap parking so whoever's directing traffic can tell people, go up here to the right is all your handicap parking.
My thought was to make Cherry Street for handicap parking.
Okay, yeah, because but now, with that being said, is your tractor parade goes right through there.
Yeah, but it doesn't go, the width taken up by cars wouldn't
But if you,
obstruct it.
when your tractor parade starts, if you have people coming wanting to park or someone wanting, they're gonna be backing out in front of you, that's gonna be an issue, so somehow we need to address that. I don't know how, but that needs to be addressed. But that would be one solution, but it's just your tractors wouldn't be able to, unless there was another way to get them around. But that is something that is definitely needed, because that was brought up multiple times.
Yeah.
I've got my elderly mother here in a wheelchair, where can I park? And that's a big thing, needs to be addressed.
What do you suggest, maybe get with the sheriff's department and get more deputies if they can approve it, or just
Well,
make sure they're placed?
if you get with them soon enough, that's not gonna be a deputy that's on regular road patrol. You're gonna have to hire a guy special to come in to do that as an extra detail.
Are we currently paying for the horse mounted?
No, we are not paying for the mounted patrol, but the mounted patrol was more for being a presence, walking around, you know.
Patrol aren't deputies. They're not
Correct.
deputies.
They're in a uniform, and on a horse, and that kind of helps to keep people more in line, but they're not a full-fledged deputy. But if you have a full-fledged deputy to work there, that would be a big help. And I think you're gonna need one on each end of town to keep them slowed down, keep them going through. And then, I mean, but you're talking some good money. I don't know what the sheriff's office charges for special detail deputies, but I know it's a bunch.
We'll look into that.
Yeah, but do you
Yeah.
have a special contract with them at all, John? The Civic?
For the Butler,
Yeah,
for the Butler County, we just make a donation.
oh, okay, okay.
It's a couple $100.
But that goes to the mounted patrol division though, right? That's totally separate than what I'm talking about, so, and you're, like I said, you're talking hundreds of dollars
Per hour.
per hour. If you have, because you're gonna need more than one deputy besides your mounted patrol to do what we're needing to do there to keep things going in a smooth, orderly fashion.
So we'll look into that.
Okay. Thanks, John. Anyone else? Come on.
Margie Beckner, 3956 Somerville Road, Somerville, Ohio. I'm in charge of the Shannon Congregational Church. I'm the chairperson of the Strawberry Festival. I'm on the Civic Association board also. And I think it was a good idea for Mike to have the road shut down, but to do it this year is kind of short notice to have it done. We have a lot of logistics that we would have to work out beforehand. And with what Rob said about the sheriff's department, that's a good idea. But we have limited funds, so we would have to figure out a way to pay for that. And the mounted patrol loves to come out. Their presence does help slow down some traffic, and it's a good thing. The kids love, petting horses and all that stuff. But there's just a lot of logistics that have to be worked out. Mike said about moving the tractor show up on the road. I don't think the road is really wide enough, and then that cuts down on Mark being able to go back and forth with the fire trucks. You need 2 lanes for the fire trucks, and if you if you do open it up and let people walk down there, they're gonna be in the way.
How
I have
do you get 2 lanes if the road's open? I mean, if cars are going through on a state highway, how does he get 2 lanes? How do you do that?
We travel with the traffic.
Travels with the traffic.
I obey all Ohio State.
Okay, and if the road's closed, you need 1.
No, because sometimes he's gonna be going down, the other one's gonna be coming back, it would just not really kinda work out. And, as far as moving the tractors up there, they like to sit back there in the back and visit. It's kind of a social thing. And, then they wouldn't be able to sit, by their tractor. They put up their tents back there in the back. I know it takes up parking, but we'll have to address that. People have been coming to the Strawberry Festival. This is the 97th. They've waited in lines, they've waited in traffic. And, people do get impatient and they go on. We've had people say, well, I couldn't find parking places, I left. But we hear time after time after time, we love this festival. It's old fashioned and, that's what they come for. And Rob was there last year with some of the other firemen were there in town.
Yes, we had one fireman out west side of town. We had a fireman right at Hamilton, New London, helping direct traffic. Actually, I think our fire chief was the one that was at Hamilton, New London, directing most of it, and there in front of the firehouse. So we had him there. Then I was at Hamilton, New London, and then I think you was there someplace. Captain Fons here was involved also with that.
So how much of a safety concern do you think it is?
Well, to me, it was a big concern just with all the people that was going through there and stuff. But
what do you think is the best solution?
The biggest thing that I seen was the number of people that needed handicap parking. And I didn't know what to tell them. And that's what got me chewed out the most was these people. I had my 99-year-old mother here, and I didn't know what to tell them because I didn't know where a good place to tell them to go park.
She was a baby for the first Strawberry Festival.
Yeah.
There you go.
Well, Mary and Sally Francis's father, John, said he'd been to the Strawberry Festival for 95 years because he came in his mother's belly. Didn't he always say that? Yeah. So.
He enjoyed the ice cream.
Yeah, right. So, I mean, there's a lot of things that we could improve on, and we try to improve on it every year. We try to be as safe as we can, and we're open to suggestions. I'm not saying Mike is wrong about anything. It's just, it's a lot to work out.
Yeah. And then the other thing that I seen that I can't believe that nothing happened, but there was a couple of times that some farmers come down through town that were baling hay, and they come through with their big wide wagons with round bales on both sides and stuff. They made it through town, no problems, but I don't know how we get farmers not to do that on that particular Saturday. So
It's a good day to make hay.
yeah, because I mean, when the sun's shining, you got to make hay.
That's right. So, I mean, we would like input from the township, we would like input from the people, and we just all have to work together on it to make it a better thing.
That might be something to add, because as a trustee, I'm going into my 9th year, and this is the first time this has ever been discussed in this detail at a trustee meeting.
Right.
So I think we need to get the township more involved. Sounds like the Shandon Civic group and the merchants down there, they kind of ran everything, and we just expected it to happen, but we need to get more involved too. And I think our first introduction was probably when we had some concerns about safety and looking at putting extending the sidewalk up to at least the Salty Dog or Munchin area. So, sure, come on up to the mic.
So I just want to recap what I heard. you said that you follow all the laws on the road and you use both sides in the traffic. And you don't want to shut the road down because you don't want the people to walk down the road. So if the road was closed and no cars were coming through and nothing in the world changed from what it is right now, what it was last year, you got carte blanche to go down one side of the road, turn around, look at the guy in the other fire truck, and he's coming up the other. What's the problem? What's the problem? People all of a sudden are going to be, the road's closed, let's run up and down the street. What's going to happen different? Chip's not moving. He's going to keep everything where it is. Parking's going to remain the same, but you don't have to worry about a single car coming through town. You just get both sides of the road to run fire trucks on. That's what I just heard.
What we didn't hear was the details of how it would happen. And
The
that's why we-
details are simple. The road's closed and no cars are going through town.
Have you ever been to the Strawberry Festival?
Yes.
Really?
What cars would need to go
Sound like you've
through?
never been here.
Nobody's pulling a boat through town. No, I mean, it's that simple.
Yeah, we've heard you, Mike.
You know, it's that simple.
We've heard you. You're so-
Drive on both sides of the street.
Kevin Brandon, 7762 Schraden Road. How many cops do you think you need?
At least 2. 3 would be better, but at least 2.
Okay, the last time I checked, I think they were $45 an hour.
Oh, they're more than that.
Oh, they are now? That was last.
Yeah, I think there were 85 the last time we looked at it.
Okay, so it's $100 an hour, to say it's that. You're gonna do it for what, 8 hours?
Yeah.
Be $335 an hour. 3 times 85.
No. So that's, why don't you just do that? Why don't you as a township?
So that you're
pony that money
talking,
up,
you're talking about $3,000, $3,500.
$3,500 to make everything, where Rob doesn't have to do anything, no one else has to do anything. You've got 3 Butler County sheriffs there that you're paying. I mean, ask for donations. I'll help with it.
No donations.
Who pays it?
What's that?
Who pays the $3,500?
That's what
The
I'm saying.
Shannon Civic Center, or Civic Community,
as
the
a
Shannon
township,
Congregational Church? I mean,
You were just saying, the township has never
we have,
ponied up to it, so why don't you do that as your contribution of the festival? You guys pay for them.
we have to be careful how we donate money because
Well,
it
I'm
is
not saying
taxpayer
That won't
money.
be donated, but I'm saying if you had private individuals like myself, that could donate some money to it. If you guys don't want to cover it yourselves, you know, I'm a local business person also. I'm sure, one way or another, if you guys can't figure out a way to pay for the 3 officers, or 2 officers, whatever you guys think needs to be,
Well,
there's
we-
other ways of doing it, and that would be the easiest way of solving the solution this year. And then that way, next year, you guys can talk about closing the road. Because like they said, the logistics of trying to do that this fast, that's gonna be just about impossible.
Right.
So the easiest solution to this, is to have 2 or 3 deputies here, have them with cruisers or whatever they need to do. Just get with Sheriff Jones or whoever it needs to be, find out how much it is. The next meeting, bring it up. I'm sure you guys can find out by then.
Oh, sure.
And then.
I mean, we could get by with 2 deputies, but 3 would be a lot better to have 1 deputy on each end of town and then have 1 deputy at Hamilton, New London,
Right.
directing traffic there, because then that's where the fire trucks turn around. That way they're helping stop people from getting in their way.
Right. That's what
That-
I'm
that
saying.
would-
So to me, that's the easiest fix for this year, is to have 2 or 3 deputies there, figure out a way to pay for them. If the township itself doesn't want to pay for it, since you guys have said you haven't really contributed to this festival, but it's in Morgan Township.
Right.
So
Yep.
why don't you contribute to this festival, pay for the 3 officers, 2 officers, 3 officers, whatever. If not, put it out there and we'll see what we can come up with. I'm sure we can get enough money,
Good thought.
one way or the other.
Good thought.
Just put my 2 cents in. Thank you.
Thank you. One other concern that I heard that when I received phone calls, but I did not hear tonight, but was, what about emergency vehicles if the road was closed and we had vendors and tractors blocking the road and we had to get a fire engine or a life squad or whatever down to there, because that many people, your chances of having, somebody slip, trip, fall, heart attack, heat, whatever, there's issues there that we need to address, that closing the road and putting tractors or something in the lane, it's going to limit our accessibility to get our emergency vehicles in there. So that was somebody that called me today, talked to me about that, and I said, yeah, you're right. I did not think that, but very, very valid.
The one other thing that I did consider with we almost have to leave the tractors where they are is most of the guys that haul their tractors in, their trailers are back in there also. I mean, where are those guys going to go with those trailers that bring their tractors in? I mean, if you make it to where it's harder for them to park those, then they're probably not going to come. So, and that's always been a big draw, at least since I've been involved with it, is the tractor show behind the firehouse there. So, just my 2 cents on that. So,
Anyone else want to add anything? Chip?
My name's Chip Gettle, 4911 Alertley London Road. I've been helping out with the Shannon Civic Association for, I'd say, a good 20 years now.
Is that?
Yeah,
Get that up a little bit.
He's taller.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that better?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Anyway, I've been helping out with the Shannon Civic Association for a good 20 years now. And every year, we learn to make improvements, kind of trial and error. It has grown big time past couple of years and stuff, and we learn from it. And we have meetings to prepare for it, from the beginning. And, this past trustees meeting that you had with safety concerns about the road and stuff, none of us had a clue what was even going on, as far as, planning, for the festival. We all talk before we make a decision to approach you guys or whatever. We talk to each other. And anyway, there was talk about moving the tractors out to the road and stuff, and I just, we're concerned about safety. I think that would be a big safety concern if there was an emergency of some sort or whatever. The guys, they do like to sit back by their equipment and stuff. They set up chairs and all that stuff, and I think it would be very unsafe for them to set up on the roads. Although the road will be closed, there's still going to be cars going up and down there, vendors and everything else, people trying to park. I don't feel that the road being closed is, might be closed for the semis or, something like that, but the people going to and from the Strawberry Festival, there's still going to be traffic there. One of my ideas is, downtown Shandon, putting cones along the center of the roads, to slow people down. I've seen that before in many other towns that I've visited, festivals and stuff like that, and people seem to, abide and they're cautious, thankfully we haven't had any. I've never heard of anybody speeding through our festival down there, whatever, but there has been some concerns and stuff, and we try to do our best to communicate with each other before we go out and get with others for help or whatever. We, as a group, I think we need to communicate together before we make big decisions. So that's about all I have.
No, thank you.
One thing, I think I don't know if we're forgetting or not, but I think it'll be almost an impossibility. Who's going to direct the traffic from Chapel Road down Cincinnati? How are you going to stop people and make them go around if they say and, you know, if they say they're gonna go there to the show, you can't stop them. And then who's gonna stop them down at the trailer, you know, place?
That's where the big caution
Who's
tape
gonna
goes
stop them and
across
say
the
they
road.
can go straight? Huh?
That's where the caution tape goes across the road, it takes you right into the lot. The cones, whatever you use, that's where it stops. Just like a detour says closed ahead, when you get there, you can't go any further because the culvert's there, that's where you stop. Same concept. It stops at Diamond or wherever they want to stop.
Wouldn't there have to be a person there though? I don't know. I guess, like I said, if you got caution tape,
Well, you'd put your barricades across the road there that they couldn't go past the barricades. You could walk around them, but you wouldn't be able to drive around them.
yeah.
It's not complicated. I mean, we closed 126 last year for 2.5 months. People didn't bypass the sign that said road closed ahead and then kept going and just jumped in the ditch. They didn't do it, you know. It happens all the time everywhere, so.
Okay.
But I think it's best just to blow it off and go with paying the money for that, whatever anybody wants to do. It sounds like it's a much better idea. Let the cars go through, keep it the way it is.
Where are you asking it to be cut off, you know, coming from the east?
Coming from the east, it would be Chapel.
No, that's coming from the west.
The other, where at, Morgan?
Ross.
You seen about Morgan Ross?
Yeah.
You-
So you could do it at New London and go across New London.
They could cross New London, but New London at Morgan Ross would detour there unless they were coming into town on New London to the Strawberry Festival.
Is
The
there-
signs would be very obvious if they're coming to the
New
Strawberry
London's
Festival,
down
they would come
further.
through. If they're not, it says closed.
When you set up a detour, that's more for the through traffic that's going through. Now, obviously, if the people are coming to the Strawberry Festival, they're gonna
London's
continue on
Morgan
past
Ross.
Morgan Ross Road, because you're gonna say detour here to go around where the road is closed. You're still gonna have your people coming to town to park and stuff. You're not gonna stop the people from coming to town. But what the detour is for is, say you have a semi-truck hauling lumber or a semi-truck hauling gasoline going to Brookville, Indiana, he's going to take your detour to get around it instead of going through. The majority of your locals are going to find the shorter way to go through. They're not going to take your full detour. This detour is just to get your large commercial traffic or your boat traffic going to Brookville Lake. That way they can get around and they're not getting slowed up going through town. Now, how do you weed those out? That's like herding cats. I don't know how you do that, to be quite honest, but you still have your people are still going to go past your road closed sign to get to town to find your parking to come to your festival. I mean, it's the same with the Butler County Fair. You have roads closed off, but people still can go past them like they're going in parking for the fair and stuff. I mean, you have your signs say parking this way, you know, more parking ahead, parking to the right, handicap parking up on the right-hand side. You have to put signage up and give people something to read to know where to go to. So.
Rob, can you get more signs that say event ahead, suggestion? Where do you get those signs put up? Where do they come from?
I usually go with a vendor. There's two vendors that I use, either AA Safety or Clean Incorporated, which is in Westchester. I get signs from both companies that can say event ahead. I mean, the big signs that we had last year, the big light up signs, those signs have went to the wayside because the light bulbs were starting to go out and it was too expensive for us to fix them. So City of Middletown now has them. I might be able to get them back for the Strawberry Festival. I don't know. I'd have to ask them and see, but they were in our possession, but now they're in the City of Middletown's possession. They was purchased through the EMA, the Emergency Management Association was the one that had those signs, and we just was a keeper of them for a couple years.
So
But
you don't have to pay for it, but they're available if you want to go.
right, but we have them up, and then you also, AA Safety, they rent signs, message boards to put up to help people too, to help say, the road's closed here, but event parking continue on, or something like bypass traffic, take the detour. I mean, that's just the big thing, is like, I didn't see very many boats last year, because we're still kind of early in the season for boating when the Strawberry Festival's going along, so, because the lake's still pretty cold. I mean, but there are a few, but I mean, that particular day, I don't really recall any boats going through there. Most people know to go up to 129 and go around the local people that come out that way. But the bigger thing is any commercial traffic, delivery trucks. There's a Pepsi truck going out to Okanna Quick Stop, or the other gas station out there in Okanna. So just for them to be able to get around it is what a lot of it's for. So, again, most of the traffic we are dealing with is the people coming to the festival. And that's why I was saying we really, I don't know where we could get some more parking on the east side of town, unless maybe we shot them up 748 to Panel Barn Lumber. But if what Mike's talking, we can get that field, that part of the field would help quite a bit, because, yeah.
There's, across the creek, from Dad's house to the creek, they parked in that area all last year. They parked in his front yard. They parked in the barnyard on New London. So Mr. Hodge did not mention any of that parking. That was a good amount of cars were there.
Okay.
There is more east side than you're thinking.
Okay.
It would be a good spot for a handicap as well, because it's close. And then also, John, I forgot to mention, Jerry Burwinkle said that he didn't mind for the church people to park on his property this upcoming year. So that's an option there too. So.
That'd be
The beauty of this is that for the first time in history, you've got the Civic Association and the church actually discussing things with the township. So the dialogue, I've never ever done an event like this that the city, the municipality, wasn't involved in the planning. Because it's a huge part of the planning with road closures, street closures, signage. Rob, anything you can do to help with signage is a plus. Okay, I appreciate your work being out there, standing on a corner, fire chief, same thing, standing out there trying to direct traffic. It's not your job, but you might have saved a life. And getting the deputies, anybody out there to help is a plus. And the thing is just getting the dialogue started so that you guys know it exists, you always have, but there's so much more that can be done with the coordination between the two entities, and looking ahead at next year. I don't care when it is, but something needs to be done and looked at for the future. I think everybody needs some help with the planning phases, and maybe it will become a little smoother with parking. There's lots of people to talk to. There's fields down there. If you're gonna spend $3,500 for a deputy, rent a farmer's field. There's so many things that can be done. You keep a crop out of the field and make that kind of money, so it's just a thought. But at least there's a dialogue here now, and you guys have an understanding of what's taking place in the township and the adversities that they're up against. Rob knows firsthand, he was down there. So, and it's very frustrating when you walk out on the street and see it. It is for me anyway, because I run it a little bit different. I've got Oxford, they do anything for me. There's so many police up there, it's insane. They pay a lot of the bills. I like that idea. They pay a lot of the bills. So, but it's a joint effort.
Yep.
This is the township,
I agree, Mike. I think that bringing this to this forum opened a lot of dialogue and things that we can, as a group, we can conquer it. We can make it better and safer. And I'll reach out to the sheriff's department and get a cost and have that for the next trustee meeting, and we'll figure out how we're going to pay for it. If that's, but I think for this year we're going to at least for our part, we're gonna table closing 126 and all the roads. We're just gonna keep it as is and try to make it as safe as we can. And then if they want to bring it up next year, let's do it early and talk about it. But if we feel that this year, if we get sheriff's deputies out here and that seems to slow traffic down and everybody's moving around and, one thing about the Strawberry Festival that I've grown over the years to know is, like Margie said, it's people come here because it's the old town, that's the old, you don't have that anymore. This is like Mayberry, people coming back for it. And, hey, if a farmer wants to come down with his trailer full of round bale, that just adds to the whole, we're in the country. So that's my take on it. Would you guys want to add anything?
Oh, sounds good.
By the way, 8 times 3 is 2,400.
Okay. All right. We'll get the actual price, but we'll figure something out. So thank you, everybody, for coming. If you want to stay for the meeting, you're more than welcome. But if you want to leave, that's fine, too. You're not going to hurt our feelings. But thanks for coming and sharing. I really appreciate that.
Thank you all.
Oh, so you're going to get your feelings hurt if people leave? Oh. Tina's got a really nice report she wants everybody to hear tonight, I guess. So.
I'm just aggravating.
All right. Sure.
My concern, I'm Russ Beckner, live at 3956 Somerville Road, but my concern is tractor safety. And I've talked to, Rob had the tractor show the first few years, and Chip's had it for years. And I'm usually in a community house, being cashier for the food. But if we could make sure on the tractor parade, there's no kids riding on fenders, or riding on drawbars, or riding in people's laps, or young people too young to run tractors. Now, what you do in your family farm, and I got a safety program I just gave in the car. I started years ago because of what I found out was occurring in Butler County. But every day there's young people losing their life and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It hasn't happened, which is great, but that's one, and I believe was someone in the fire, I don't know, I was in the community shop. If they could, as they're getting lined up for the tractor show, just say, hey, can't be riding your kids and your 12-year-old, can't be riding your farm all the John Deere. Suggestion.
Yep. Good point. Thank you.
Thanks, Russ.
Go ahead.
All right. Moving along. Dale?
Okay, all right. First thing on my list of 9 things, you can check number 7 off because we took care of it at the beginning for the minutes. First of all, we've had very limited for the first 2 months of the new year. There's only a total of about 6 total certificates that I've approved for, and mostly fences. We did have an install of fire suppression hood down at Okeana Marathon, or it will be installed. That was taken care of. I give all the necessary information to the fire department on that. And I'm sure that I hope to get a call to say, hey, fire department, go down and inspect it, but we'll see. Other than that, it's pretty much just been easy on that end of it, okay? All right, the next meeting of the Zoning Commission is March the 6th. And I'd like to remind everyone that all Zoning Commission meetings are open to the public. It was so nice last February the 3rd or whatever it was to have an audience, mainly because we were talking about a very controversial topic, and just to determine, and it started our dialogue on the, as I'll mention a little later, on this particular topic. The commission will be reviewing specifically the Butler County Planning Commission's approval of Chapter 17, which is a new chapter we're adding for solar energy and being able to regulate that. And we will be then making our resolution and approving it for sending it on to the Board of Trustees. 6810 Okeana Drurisburg on number 2 has complied and removed all debris, trash, refuge, and inoperable vehicles from the property. And I'm very, very, very happy with that one because of it. It just took a letter in that respect. I think people are becoming aware that if I do send out a letter, we want something done, but we never know. The Butler County Planning Commission approved the solar chapter and other text amendments last Tuesday. The text amendments, there are new definitions for some very specific things that came up in a hearing last year, and we decided that we would specifically give these particular things definitions so that there could be no further denial of what's going on. But you have in your folder, trustees, a working copy of Chapter 17. Okay? It is 8 pages. It's front and back. It's actually 4 sheets, but it's front and back. That is the approved BCPC and probably what we will approve from the zoning commission at that time. It is for your reading, okay? It is for your reading and to understand what we've done. If you see any comments or anything else you want to make on it, then you will be receiving this for the March, what would that be, the March 12th meeting, I believe it is. Falls in there, right? The 11th meeting, March, the 11th meeting, because Monday is a 4th. Okay? You will not be receiving it until the 25th of March, because the zoning commission will not have met to give its approval. Right. But at least you have it almost a month in advance to look it over and decide whether or not it's worthy of us to even put it in there. I want to involve you as much as possible on that. I'm also asking you again to start to bring in your zoning regulation notebooks. And guys who are here tonight from the zoning commission, I will be picking those up on March the 6th, okay? So I'll be taking them from you no matter what and how they look. So get them in order, please.
So, Dale, I know this is a working draft or working copy of Article 17, but why is some of it in red?
Oh, it's still working in that respect. Those were definite change. It is connected with the community, community portion, all of that's in red.
Okay.
And there is an article that states that it's in red. Basically, this is in red if the House Bill 197 is passed and it becomes community law, which that's what 197 is referring to. Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you. That's good to note. I knew it was in red for a reason, though.
Okay.
Number 6. There have not been any applications for a variance this year at all so far. Therefore, the BZA has had no reason to meet since our yearly meeting in January. Okay. We'll skip down to number 8. I will be attending the Butler County Planning Commission Subdivision Review Committee this coming Thursday, February the 29th. The committee will be reviewing the preliminary plat for what is to become Howard's Creek Estates. The committee will be given comments, will give comments and recommend approval or disapproval of the plat. Then on March the 12th, the BCPC, the Planning Commission itself, will be given the report on the plat and either approve or disapprove the plat. And then if it's approved, then Morgantown Zoning will approve the plat. You also have the plat here in your folder. It is front and back for you because I was trying to save paper. The back portion, the smaller portion one, has a very specific look to it, and it states that there, that it is, what is it showing? I forget exactly. It's showing something different. Drainage, it's showing the drainage, okay? And you can see that on the back. The top one is the actual plat. It is only 7 lots. They're 3 acres. However, the extension and the reason why this had to be a subdivision is for private lane. First of all, we don't have private lanes in the town. We do have private lanes in the township, but we are not having any new ones into the township. We did that several years ago in the zoning department. But these people are crossing Howard's Creek. They have to put in a bridge, and in so doing so, also have to put in a county spec road, which after finishing completion of the division could be brought back to the township for maintenance.
Who gives the approval of the bridge as far as the stats on it?
The engineer's office.
Butler County does.
Butler County engineers.
Not-
Right.
Does the fire department react
No,
to that?
with that being said, because of it being a public road, that is the only reason the Butler County Engineers Office has anything to say with it at all.
When wouldn't it?
If it was going to be a private bridge.
correct, a
If
private
it was a
bridge.
private individual building a house over there, building a bridge, then it's a private individual would have to build that to specs to meet what the fire department had put forth. But since it's going to be a public bridge, the fire department doesn't have a say in it. It's
Okay.
all goes to the county and their specifications, which will be much greater than what the fire department put forth for a private bridge.
Okay, but they still have the right to not travel the bridge if they don't feel like, and I'm sure it would, but.
No,
Well, I mean, if it's,
it will be.
if it's built to county specs, it's gonna be way more than what they ever said.
First I heard that.
Yeah,
Okay.
it'd be way more than what the fire department had the fire department is just if you are building a private bridge for a private
Which I've heard many times.
a private individual, it's just guaranteeing to the fire department that you built that bridge to a specification that it will hold up our equipment to cross that bridge if they have a fire.
Okay.
Right. Because of the number of lots here too, that was also made part of it a requirement too. There's only 7 lots. Now this is basically, it's kind of a private development because it is the one family, the Tensings, are developing in this as a family compound, sort of, so to speak. But it had to go through these steps because it's a subdivision. Okay, all right?
So does the Butler County Planning Commission have to approve the plat, but it's still subject to
To our zoning,
our zoning,
right,
and then
and our approval.
and then once the county engineer's office gets involved in specking out the bridge, the
That's all.
family could say, nah, it's feasibly not.
That's feasibly not, right.
Right.
I
We're
mean,
not
would
gonna
be the
pursue
fa-
it.
But actually, they've done all of that work now beforehand.
So they've already
They've
they've
been
already
to the
looked
en-
at the bridge.
Yeah, they've already been to the engineer's office,
Okay.
everything else. They followed up, it was soon after you guys went to that road meeting that you guys attended, and they and we got all that straightened up about what it was, and it wasn't a private drive, it's going to be a public road, et cetera, because Abercrombie and, the Abercrombie and Associates guy named Scott, I believe it is. Scott, right? He went to and spoke to the Tensings themselves, the two that are actually kind of leading it. He spoke to Tim Tensing and his wife because she had called me and she was upset over the fact that, this bridge, et cetera, that the county wasn't going to do anything or anything else like that. Well, it got presented as if it were a private drive.
Yeah.
But it's not, okay? And that's what they had to understand. But Scott from Abercrombie and Associates, he fixed all of that. They have already, I think they've even asked for bids on the cost of the road and the cost of the bridge, all right? But what the review committee will do this Thursday is sit down and look at the plat and see what it falls in terms of drainage, in terms of the road, in terms of everything else. is it this, is it that, and make recommendations, and then either decide whether they want to say that the subcommittee disapproves or the subcommittee approves it, but with the recommendations. Okay. Any other questions on that?
No.
No. As to whether it comes to you guys, I've got to confirm whether or not you guys make the final decision on that. But I think once it comes out of BCPC back to the zoning commission, that's as far as it goes, and we can approve it without. But I just wanted to get you guys informed ahead of time in case I do have to bring it to you.
But things can change up till it comes to us, right?
Right.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, because we might ask for changes,
okay.
but I don't think we will. I think we're pretty much, we've already had a couple of preliminaries with Scott, so, and everything else on this. Have I kept this quiet? Yes, in a sense. I've kept it quiet, but
Has the board discussed today? Has the board?
the zoning commission
Yeah,
has,
yeah.
yeah, the zoning commission has discussed it. We've even, several times.
It will come to the trustees when it comes to the point of bonding. They're gonna have to provide a bond to the township
Yeah.
for that development under the new rules.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's some things there that, this is all new to me, even though I've gone to Butler County Planning Commissions and listened to the presentation by the staff person who is over the BCPC in terms of giving the staff report. He's kind of like, well, Zeb Acuff was the one who would do that before. Now Zeb is no longer there, and it's Craig. All right, so any other questions on that?
Nope.
Okay. Finally, I'm going to be sending you guys some information. I've done a lot of research on it. Ken has sent me some stuff. I haven't looked at it yet, but it's on the recreational marijuana. I've also put together a resolution, should it come time to, that could be interchanged to be either we prohibit or we everything, or we allow this and prohibit that, or we say, oh, we'll just let it all happen, okay? So that those are all set, written in Morgan Township availability, but we still will need to discuss it throughout March, okay? And I think, if I'm not mistaken, we really need to make a decision on the moratorium if we're going to do it before June, because that's when it's really going to start to roll. And that's all I have, unless you have something for me.
All right. Anything else for Dale? Tina?
Okay, I need a resolution for the trustees to adopt the 2024 Morgan Township legal level of control as written, and I've given everybody a copy. It's this.
Mm-hmm.
The numbers are taken off of the budget that was given to Butler.
So explain it, what exactly is the legal level of control? Is that our limits of the budgets?
That's all of our money, yes.
Okay.
Tina, right here in the general fund, is this the balance? The all expenditures?
Yes.
That's the
it's with-
balance?
It's with the carryover and
After the
everything.
188,000, or?
Well, see, some are personnel expenditures, which are salaries. You have
Okay.
to separate them from the rest of the expenditures, from the budget.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I'll make a motion to approve the 2024 Morgan Township legal level of control as written.
Second.
Mr. Brucker?
Yes.
Mr. Cole?
Yes.
Mr. Huff?
Yes.
Motion approved. Also, the 2023 financial year end has been done. Everything is done. Everything. Oh, my God.
Congratulations.
There's so much more stuff to do than before. It's unreal. Also, I wasn't sure, were you guys gonna still rescind this resolution and reword it? I mean, if you wanna think about redoing it for next time, that's fine. I just wanted to remind you guys about it. I mean, is
So
the
how do
park
we-
board terminated, or are you considering it? I mean, because the motion that was made
It
said
just says to consider, it didn't say that we were doing it.
Yes,
right?
if you want to rescind this and just, I mean, whatever you all want to do.
So that means it wasn't rescinded, right?
According to the way it was worded, we made a motion and approved the consideration to consider the termination of the park board per Sandy's request. We didn't actually do it.
Didn't actually do it.
So you can, like, if you want to rescind this one and just,
It's whatever you, I mean, we're recognizing all of the people that were on the board.
Right.
We're formally going to do that.
Okay.
It's up to Sandy. If she, I mean, that's kind of where we left it with her. If this is her recommendation, then, you know, if we're reacting to her.
I thought we were just leaving her and Mike.
Right. I think
Is that
they're,
what this means here?
correct.
Why don't we just do it? Or should we?
Yeah.
Do you think, Tom?
Yep.
Yeah,
you're just going to leave it like it is?
yeah. Just make a
Okay.
recommendation.
And
Well,
Oh,
we made a motion to consider, we got to make the motion to terminate
do
it.
Terminate.
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
So you want to just reword this one or just rescind this whole thing?
rescind this whole thing.
Okay. I'll make a motion to rescind resolution 008-2024 as written.
Second.
Mr. Brucker?
Yes.
Mr. Cole?
Yes.
Mr. Huff?
Yes.
Motion approved. Okay.
Now, do you want to make a new resolution? I'll make a motion to terminate the park board per Sandy's, Tyler's request as the chairman, and it would be just comprised of Sandy and Mike Riesenberg. And in the event that we ever have to bring back the park board, we have that option to do that.
Who's Mike Riesenberg?
He
That's
was the,
person
yes.
with her? Okay.
Yep.
All right. Okay.
Does that sound fair?
Yeah. That sound good?
Yeah.
You get a second?
I'll second.
Okay. Mr. Brucker?
Yes.
Mr. Cole?
Yes.
Mr. Huff?
Yes.
Motion approved. And
Okay.
then the only other thing I have is, just reminding you of this. I mean, I don't have anything to do with it, but we've paid 2 bills on this volunteer fire department dependence fund. We're not volunteer, I guess you can still do this, right?
I don't know exactly what we got here. Hold on a minute.
Yeah.
So how am I the president and Darrell Huff's a member? Is that a member of this VFDF or is this part of the
What I-
trustees?
Well,
Because I don't see Jeff Kolb listed.
What I read on the invoice was that y'all have to have a VFDF board.
But we're not a volunteer fire department anymore. So I
Yeah, that is correct, and what that
I
was
don't know.
for, that was back when, that was for when Frank Tompkins died as a result of being in the smoke of the fire and stuff, and he had a dependent, his wife. She got money every year that she was alive. So you had to have a board to approve that or something that was part of that.
So every year it had to be renewed,
Right,
basically.
and you had to
Okay.
I never
have
knew that.
officers and
Yeah.
stuff as part of that. However, since she has passed away, we do not have anybody still receiving that, so I don't see why you have,
Are you not paying a premium for that every year for all the fire?
we're not a volunteer fire department no more.
But yeah, we paid two premiums this year for it.
We're gonna look into that a little bit further.
Yeah,
Find
let's-
What the volunteer designation is, because there have been opportunities where you'll get these type of policies under a volunteer designation, which will apply to a part-time department such as ours, because we're not we're not a full-time department, we're not a unionized department, and so there's some things on the outside. I'm not aware of what you guys, I know a little bit about what you're talking about, but I'm not sure where it's at with the Morgan Fire Department.
Right.
I have
But
some
the
experience
thing
on this
is
before.
our past fire chief felt that we needed to no longer be a volunteer fire department, so they took that away. So there's no volunteer period. When you work for Morgan Township, you're being paid as a paid employee.
Exactly.
You are not a volunteer. Even if you show up extra, you go on the clock. You're not a volunteer.
Exactly.
Well, the second invoice they sent, the lady sent a little notation that they would not be able to apply for certain grants unless
member.
that was paid. Yeah.
Tom, if you don't mind, let me look into this a little bit.
Yeah,
further,
would you? I'm
see
still.
where we're at, specifically with things. There's been a lot of changes in this past year, so I want to find out exactly where this.
I'm still confused how I'm the president. And I don't even know what it is.
Well, I think what it amounts to is that you comprise the board for.
Maybe at the time I was the chairman of this board, but Daryl's a member, but the other trustee, whether it was Brett or Jeff Kolb, is not a member. I don't see the rationale of this, but yeah, would you look into it?
Look into this a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah, you can have that.
And Tina, have you made payments to?
Yes, 2 of them this year.
I'll get with you on those, like you
Yes.
told in and what those amounts were, so.
Yes.
But again, I still think that had to do with the,
Stopping the payment.
Mrs. Tompkins.
Yeah.
The claim.
Getting a payment, as long as she was still alive, was getting that payment from a volunteer fire department thing or whatever. I mean, I don't know all the details,
Let me look into it.
but I know that was part of it. Because at one time, I was even, I was a member at large on that board.
Isn't there a record of it on our budget? You know,
Oh, yeah, it's been paid every year. That I can look back. Because I'm like, why are we doing this? We're not volunteer, but it's been done.
yeah.
Let me look into it, because there's other
Okay.
departments that do participate in this from, departments I've been with. And I'm not sure exactly, I understand the volunteer, I understand that was taken away.
Right.
Riley'd be
But
the
I'm
only-
not sure if there's not some type of, I'll use the word subclause for the part-time departments. That's
Okay.
something I'll have to look into.
All right, thanks, Mike. Anything else for Tina?
No, that was it.
Okay.
That's it, I'm done.
Jeff?
Yeah, Neil Westridge had spoke with me the other day, president of the Historic Society, and he asked if the township could help out the Historic Society and print approximately 14 color flyers each month for the guest speakers that they host. So I said I'd bring it before the board and see if we could do that for the society. And
Is that like a one-time deal or something?
well, each month. Well, I think they.
Or is it gonna come every time?
Well, it comes. They start in March, and I think they go through March through November each year. That's when they hold their meetings, and they have a guest speaker each month.
So what are they doing with the copies? Just putting them out on the table?
Yeah,
for-
one goes down to the
They hang
Country
them
Barrel, and one goes
everywhere.
out here.
He
And
came in today and I made him 8.
did you? Okay.
Oh.
I did.
I don't
it
see
was
an
okay,
issue
I
with
did
it. I
it.
think that's fine.
we could
My
probably
fault.
help them out, throw
My
them.
Yeah.
fault. Yeah, we had a nice chat.
Okay.
Okay, well, he kind of maybe jumped the gun a little bit, but we
Well, I
maybe
offered, so it was
we
my
can
fault.
cover him. And
I don't see an issue
that's your
with that.
pleasure. I'll make the motion.
I'll second it.
Okay.
Okay. Mr. Cole?
Yes.
Mr. Brucker?
Yes.
Mr. Huff?
Yes.
Motion approved.
Okay, the second thing I have is, I'd like to make an offer, a motion for a resolution to advertise the invitation to bid for the construction of the Morgan Township Park and Walking Trail. The facility will be for all Morgan Township residents, their guests, and people of the surrounding communities. The legal notice will be published on or about 1 March 2024, with closing of bidding on or about March the 25th, 2024. And that was based on the legal notice that we got back from the prosecutor's office today.
Okay. So do we want to talk about the bid schedule? The timing schedule, or are we just going to leave it as is?
Yeah, we could discuss, you mean the specific dates?
Right,
that
if
we
we
would
put
have?
it out for,
Yeah, okay, yeah, I mean,
in the
we could.
public, it was be March 1st, the way it's proposed right
Yeah,
now.
Sure, yeah, I can run through those.
Okay,
If, this is the best case, you know, we got flexibility if we need to back up, because if you wanted to move one of the meetings, it would, the legal advertised to bid, we want to make sure we'd have those dates lined up with the bid, legal notice. But if we're going in March the 1st, we'd have several days. If we wanted to have another planning meeting or an emergency meeting to discuss any slips on the date, we would be able to do that. Or we still have, I could work the dates up, but you know, we'd run deep.
well,
An open meeting would be best to do that.
If we put it out for bid, the notification on Friday, March 1st,
Right.
we have to leave it open for 3 weeks, right?
Yes.
So that'll take us to the 22nd.
Yeah, I'll run through that, because I'll
Okay,
try to.
go ahead.
I'll step through it, because a lot of this is new to me too, so.
Okay.
It looks like if we go out for a legal notice on the Journal News, that would be March the 1st. Like I said, the legal notice has come back. And we made the changes to it per the prosecutor's office today. So it is ready to go and is in sync with the invitation to bid. Okay. Now on number 2, 11 March. So you got the 1st of March, the legal notice goes out. The 11th of March would be a pre-bid meeting here at the admin building at 10 o'clock. And I talked to Rob Painter. Rob, he's the one who did our construction drawings.
Okay.
He said he'll come to it, so if any of the bidders have any questions, he can answer their questions, because they're looking at the construction drawings. They're gonna have, oh, what's this, what's that, whatever. So he's speaking on our behalf for that.
Okay.
Okay, then on March, 18 March.
What?
Did he say March the 5th? It's Sunday.
March the 11th.
Yeah, okay. And then the 18th of March would be the last date for questions. So we're open for questions that come in from the bidders. We would be cutting that off at 2 p.m. on 18 March. Okay, but then the 25th of March is the 3-week deadline. Since this is ARPA money, prosecutor has directed us that these bids have to stay open for that period of time, 3 weeks. So that's not by our decision, that's by legality. So the bid proposals will be due date of the 25th of March by 2 p.m., coming back to the township here. Everything is in writing, the documents will be filled out, and they're all sealed. Now, the 26th of March, the bid proposals will be open and read aloud at 10 a.m. here at the admin building. So
And what date was that?
that's going to be the
Tuesday.
26th of March. So now the 27th, so we'll see if the bidder has met the qualifications and filled out all their paperwork accordingly, and a price associated with the full construction, blacktopping, everything that has been outlined in the construction drawings. So that'll be the 26th. They're open and read aloud. The 27th, it will be the contract award at 2 p.m. here in Morgan Township at the admin building. And with a start date, so we've got a vendor selected now, because they all know when our target date to start would be, and they're bidding against that target date to start. And that work would begin on 8 April and conclude on 14 June. So that April, May, June, that gives them approximately 2 months. And if those dates would slip or be modified, that would be at the discretion of the trustees if they come to us and explain that.
Okay, Dale, I'm going to ask you, you've put notices in the journal. How, can we do it now and get it in by Friday?
You
Okay,
gotta give them 2
You should
days.
be.
2 days?
But you gotta do
Okay.
it tomorrow.
All right.
You gotta at least do it tomorrow. Usually, I've found that in the last few times that I've actually put one in, I get a response back pretty much immediately.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah, you do. You
All right.
do. And then you just call them and pay with
And
your
then you
credit
call them.
card.
Well, you read over what they put in. and
Right.
make sure
They
that
said this is what it's gonna
this
look
is what
like.
It's gonna look like, then you go ahead and, as she said, call them, say you've approved it, give them the payment, however you're doing it, and then just sit back and wait for it to be published. After that, it's pretty simple.
So is that just a one-time published one time, or do they run it more than once?
Well, that would be up to you. How many times does it need to be legally ran?
You know, I believe that a lot of these companies are electronically scanning newspaper publications. So it's being picked up on other construction journals and other venues. As soon as that hits, the word's
Okay.
out. So my impression is that we would have to do it once, and we're going to be exposed to the whole industry.
Do we still want to put it on our website?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Sure,
That's a
the
second
more
thing.
legal sites that you can put it on, the better off you're going to be.
Okay.
Okay?
So it will be, we'll have a description for linking to our website where the invitation to bid will be hosted and
Okay.
also the construction drawings. And
Good.
then once Chris posts all that to our website, the vendors could go to our website and get every detail that's been created in the invitation to bid. They'll see all the dates, they'll see all the requirements, they'll see prevailing wage, they'll see tax, they'll see bonding, they'll see all legal aspects of dealing business with the federal money. So this is the first step to, we're really moving the needle at this point, putting this word out and drawing in interest from construction companies.
We got an email from Butler County. We have to go to a class because we have to report to them too.
Oh, because we got the $150,000 from the commissioners?
Plus the federal.
Now, see, here's another thing. We quote the cost of the project in the invitation to bid, and I've quoted that at $240,000. I looked at what you have in the ARPA budget on your spreadsheet, Tina. What was it, 130?
It's 129 something, I believe. I don't know the exact.
You got 129, and we'll get 150. So that's $279,000, and we've quoted it at $240,000. I think the project is doable at $240,000, but if there's any bid that's above 10%, exceeding by 10% of that $240,000, it's rejected.
So 264,000 or above, right?
Well, we've got 279, but I'm estimating 240 for.
But the 10% would be 264.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But I think we're right in the ballpark. Okay, so we have a motion. We have a motion for a resolution on the floor for the legal notice that's going into the paper. So.
Second.
Do we have, you're okay with
I'll
all
second
the
it, yep.
outline and?
Yep.
Okay. Have a roll call.
Mr. Cole?
Yes.
Mr. Brooker?
Yes.
Mr. Huff?
Yes.
Motion approved.
And could I get a resolution number?
Sure, it's 031-2024.
Okay, thank you. That's all I've got.
Okay, the only thing I had was the discussion around the closure of 126, which we've already taken care of. Darryl, you got anything?
Just that I'm here.
Do we need executive session? Do you want to?
No, what about?
Yeah, we'll probably, with the personnel, you want to do the personnel, read the
Okay.
personnel issue?
Where's my papers at?
You okay,
Yeah.
you okay with a few minutes?
Yeah. Look at the,
Where's?
the screen up there.
Do you have it?
Shouldn't that camera be moved over? Because
Yeah.
you can't see the
Here we go.
podium.
Okay.
Yeah. That would show the podium, that room behind Dale.
Or we can move the podium over where Mike is
Plenty
sitting.
of room where, behind Dale that we
Yeah.
don't use.
Yeah.
And that would show that,
We keep
Yeah,
thinking, we
it
keep talking
doesn't
about
have to
doing
be,
that.
it's
Yeah.
not wired.
can that just be moved by hand, bro?
Yeah. We've had it here already before.
Stand on a chair? Oh, no.
Yeah, that's OSHA compliant, all right.
There you go.
Oh,
Keep going.
Lord.
Oh, that's great.
That looks good. Okay,
Great.
Raise it up just a hair.
Yeah, just a hair maybe. Yeah,
That's good.
Back down, back down, back down.
Right.
Out towards the podium. No, the other way.
The other way.
Keep going, keep going.
Right there.
Right there.
That's good. Oh, it won't stay.
You can take me out of the picture, I
Won't
don't
stay.
care.
everybody knows you already, so you don't need any more.
I don't need any more
Advertising.
At
advertising.
least we know.
All right, I'll make a motion to go into executive session to consider the appointment, employment, dismissal, discipline,
Yeah.
promotion, demotion, or compensation of a public employee or official.
Second?
Okay. Mr. Brucker?
Yes,
Mr. Kolb?
Yes.
Mr. Huff?
Yes.
Motion approved at
8:56.
8:56 PM. 8:56 PM, okay.
Just for your information and everybody else's information, it's on South West Regional Water. We do have a board member that is going to resign. So there's 5 people that are running. Most likely, the 4th leading vote getter will take the place of the one that's resigning. Then they'll have to run again next year. His term went through 2025, but he's resigning a year early. No, this is Bob Schmidt is retiring for, health reasons and just so he can travel the world. He would be missing over half the meetings. He doesn't feel that that's right to do. But he's Bob. Who's on the water bill then? You or?
Nobody, God.
Huh?
God.
Oh, you're on the system? Oh, yeah.
Tell me the 3 names again, Chenoweth,
Chet Chenoweth, Clark Kelly,
Kelly,
and Doug Gray.
okay. Chenoweth, Kelly, Gray. All right. Okay.
$1,000 difference could mean you tipping it over into the.
Dale, Dale. You can keep it.
We actually, somebody in the township has one, just like Mingus is out on State Line Road, a farmer.
Yeah.
Just bought one, and Mark and them went out and ran it today, and man, this thing's a catch me out, it's smooth as all get out. The Ross has got a Kubota, like we were farming, we went and ran hers, and it's a good machine, there's nothing wrong with it. Just the Kubota is so much smoother, nicer.
Okay, I always brought my own, because I was like that nasty pancake stuff. Yeah. I just, I was kind of glad that was gone.
Excavator machine.
Well, I myself another.
Yeah, it's been one of the best forever.
I'm just going by that all the contractors that I see in this area have got them. Bobby James has got 3 of them. You've got 1 or 2 with however many. 3. You've got 3. Bobby James has got 3. Mingus has got one out there now. I can't remember the guy's name that does a lot of work for Butler Rural Electric. He's got one. They're just, they're everywhere.
Yeah, because, well, the other thing is, like, the Taco Beach Street, they now have Kubota in the middle. They used to have Yanmar, now they got Kubota.
There was a path, well-marked path, and people would step right out in front of the tractor and, you know, that tractor and the wagon with people on it, you can't stop on a dime. And I finally, I said, "Was your insurance cover?" I said, "Then we're shutting down, because I'm not putting your farms at risk for stupid people."
That I
Stop,
never
and
had
they'll do the same thing to the tractor, they'll walk right out in
on
front
their
of
old
it, and
style
they're
ones.
closed. Right out in front of it. I don't blame you.
Was the new one that you're getting?
You know,
Yeah,
my
you
people
decided,
not
yeah,
going
it's
to,
quicker. I can
they're
actually
gonna
fix
get
it.
my
So if I ever get a new unit, good.
Now, the one thing that we could have gotten that we did not is we could have got the power angle blade, and I'm like, I don't see why I need a power angle blade for what we're doing. I just got the straight edge blade, and I'm not gonna be doing any grading, and I want it more for stabilization, that's why I went with just a straight blade.
Yeah, that's what I do. You putting in pipe and stuff, and you grading in the soil, I think what I do is
That, and it was $3,000, $4,000 extra dollars for that, and I don't need that.
So if you got a cabin in there, is that radio too?
It does.
Well, actually, shit. You were sitting one of them some bitches all day long? No, I don't. No.
I saw they were like. I want to say, when I first started in the township, I had an open cab, case 680, foot swing, whole thing, like, you did like this.
Yeah, nothing.
I was loading salt in the wintertime, the snow's blowing in your face, and you're now I sit in my cab, it's nice and heated, and the snow blows in my face, and that's all I need to do.
we did it, it's at 80%. That way, most of the construction traffic's done before you take it over.
This will be the first one that I will ever be involved with since I worked here, because it always has been private drive, and man, we've gotten all kinds of problems. People coming and getting all bent out of shape because we won't, well, I pay taxes. Hey, you're right, but it's a private drive, and you bring it up to county specs, and we go out and take it over. Well, then they go and they look, and it's gonna cost $800,000, and they're like, oh, we can't afford that. You're supposed to pay a private drive then.
Kearney is a pretty good example, best example. Because they ended up not realizing that they actually had a bridge.
Yeah.
It was kind of.
And that bridge needs some major work to bring it up to stuff. Because where it comes, after it comes through it undermined it. Did that rolling, and it actually undermined it 6 feet back up underneath the last section. So they need to do something before we have another big gully washer. That way it doesn't undermine it and part of it start tapping off. They've got about a 10-foot hole there, that when it gets rolling, it's like a big churning excavator almost.
And then, Landfill North looked at theirs and then realized they had too many streets. It's gonna cost forever. If they'd done just maybe the main portion down this certain part, they would probably be better off, but we still have the streets there, so we still have the or whatever, in the area. Maybe some of these up there.
No, Mike Trustee used to do all that back in there, but I don't think he does anymore. I don't see him now. I don't know who does it now. Friday night, there was nobody. There was people.
Oh my gosh, everywhere.
Man, that was a mess. Well, there wasn't anybody who had a problem with state line, it was just all the hills. Okie and Drewsburg was like cordwood stacked up Okie and Drewsburg. Two of them right at the bottom. The funniest one was these two black guys were in this pickup truck with a snowplow. They come bebopping through there, and they come around the corner, and they go straight over sideways. They're like giving their hell trying to get out of there, and 2 or 3 pickup trucks coming hooked onto them, and they couldn't get no traction to pull it at all. So they're stuck there like, man, we got all these lots we gotta do, we gotta get here. Like, man, well. So they called the wrecker, well, the wrecker couldn't get to them.
Oh, wow.
Well, I heard it was a guy named Kevin, and he's the only Kevin I know lives on Straight Road.
That was pretty shocking in front of that one there. I was like, oh my. And all the people were standing out, and I'm like, oh no, you guys okay? He's like, yeah, we're good.
It was a slow motion. I still can't believe I didn't see it, because, I mean,
Because you had just came by up at the church, and we left,
Yes.
and they said they'd been flipped over for like 45
Yeah,
minutes.
they messed up 45 minutes. They
We
already
left
called
up there,
somebody and-
we left there at 6.
Yeah, they left him.
Yeah, and we left up there. So I guess they flipped over about 5 there, I guess.
where were you guys at?
That was just, yeah.
Right now?
Yeah, we just flipped up. Yeah. Because you went by, this is, it was the way it was.
Because actually, I normally start on Chapel Road, and that's the start of my route. But I deviated because I had a phone call from Amy Rack. She had a bunch of kids coming for a birthday party on George Road. And there was like 6 cars stuck, couldn't get up the hill, so I went there first. Well, then that put me all out of whack because I started in the middle of I went to the left and went George Road. So Southwire, I didn't go up Southwire because I went George.
Right.
Then after I did George, then I went to Schraden, State Line, Shawling, did all that. Then I come back the backside of the northbound part of George. Then I went over, got Southwire, then I had to go back down across George to
We
get
were
the.
just cozy in the living room, and here comes Rob. That was
I
Rob.
was having a field day. Until about 1:30 in the morning, and I was just about done, and I was like bebopping around Schraden Road, come off of California, come around the bend, and like, oh shit, the county truck was coming at me.
Oh.
And it was nothing but ice. All the slush had frozen. And I come around there and I just started wiggling. I'm like, oh, crap. So I put her in the ditch and I got past him, but I was in the ditch, am I right? So
Oh, so you almost hit that telephone pole?
I raised the plow up, I had the wheel cut as hard to the left, and I stomped her, and I was going along, and I'm like, oh shit, here comes the telephone pole. I'm stuck. So the county boy, luckily he stopped and waited to see what happened, and he backed back up and was like, well, should I pull backwards? And I'm like, actually, I think if I just fold my mirror in and you pull me forward, and he backed up and we hooked his center of his plow to the center of my plow. And as he backed up, then he swung the front end around towards the opposite side, and that pulled my front end, got it up out of it, and I finally come up out of there. I'm like,
Yeah, I saw that. I was like, I told her, I said, yeah, someone almost hit that telephone pole that I called the county about too. Too dang close to it.
I was like, God damn. But I missed it. I didn't hit it.
Yeah.
But it was close. There's about a 2-foot rut there. So.
Yeah, that's the one I called you about.
And
And
I
I called
called
the
you about
county.
it, and
I called the county, and the county came out and they said, it's all right. I'm like, okay. I was wondering who almost, I figured this.
Because I think if that pole hadn't been there, and I kept hammered down, I think I'd have got went another 20 feet. I think it would have come back up.
You would've.
But I
Yeah, but
couldn't
that-
because that pole was there.
Yeah. That spot right there is bad. That's where everybody goes off.
But I can attest to that because I come around the corner, I'm like, oh.
Yeah,
And
there ain't nothing for you to do.
I will admit I got a little cocky because I made it all night long. I had no problem, whatever. So now that there's nobody on the road except me and the county truck.
You just have to lay right there.
Ah, crap. That little cockiness got me.
President called the county and said, hey, you need to have Ultra Fiber come with that damn phone back. Like that. Oh, I know. Somebody will lose the message.
They would have made better if you would have kept the hammer down and just knocked it out of the way.
Well, I didn't want to tear up my truck that bad. I'd have tore the door off, and I'd have bent the headache rack on the bed. So if I could have hit it head on with the plow, yeah, but yeah, it wasn't worth the paperwork, and you'd have to go get drug tested and all that stuff. Yeah, and then I kind of like my truck. I don't want to have to go drive that old one.
Last time it was the county that did, went off the road right there. Yeah.
Oh, I heard it, my choo-choo.
All right, that's all this. I don't know. I mean, Yeah,
You ready?
Yep.
All right, I'll make a motion at 9:48 PM to come out of executive session.
Second?
Mr. Brucker?
Yes.
Mr. Cole?
Yes.
Mr. Huff?
Yes.
Motion approved.
All right, any discussion?
No.
Nope. I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second?
Mr. Brucker?
Yes.
Mr. Cole?
Yes.
Mr. Huff?
Yes.
Motion approved.